Good morning and welcome to our presentation and PD on vocabulary in the second grade. We are here because we've looked at our ARI data poll that we did from everybody and realized that our faculty really is ARI trained, but in reality, for some of us it's been over 15 years, and perhaps a little bit of a refresher on some things might help us all out, bring back those good practices into what we do in every day. One area across the school we noticed that was low is vocabulary instruction. And so vocabulary is an easy thing to integrate into what we're already doing, and so we decided to take a look at that. Now, for this morning, our goal and our setup for the day is fairly simple. We're going to look at how to add this back into our instruction very simply and very seamlessly. We're going to have icebreaker, we're going to talk about 2 strategies, and we're going to have evaluation, and we are done for the day. Now, the first thing we want to do is let's play a little game together. So if you will take your laptop, your Chromebook, your phone, and let's hop into Kahoot. Your game pin is listed here, and we're going to play a quick game against each other and see how well we know each other and how well we're up on things in the world today. So take a second and let's play. That was enjoyable. So now let's take a look at one of our first strategies called List Group Label. List Group Label is a great way to start any unit that you're about to do. Any new form, it can be science, social studies, a reading unit, anything that involves new words, vocabulary, old words that they may not have really tapped into. This is a way for students to collaborate with each other and create words. So the first thing you're going to do is you give them a topic. They work on this topic and they brainstorm words and they shout out words to you. And you add them to a huge piece of chart paper. Don't go overboard, especially for your first time. Keep it between 10 to 15, even 20 words, especially for the first time, because you don't want to overwhelm them and you don't want to overwhelm yourselves. So once you have this list of words on your chart paper, you're going to take these words and you're going to give the kids a sticky note, huge sticky note page, or a huge sheet, another chart paper, and they're going to sort these words. They're going to talk to each other about why these groups of words go together, and they all have to come to a consensus. And it's not just that these words go together, it's why they go together. Once they've grouped them, then they're going to give them a label, and these are words that are all happy words. These are words about animals. These animals all have fur. However they choose to group them is what they're going to do. Then once everyone's done in a time frame, you come back together and they share. Now you can share a couple of different ways. For younger kids, I would have them read the words. Have them have a spokesperson to read the group of words out to everyone. Older kids, you could hang them and do a gallery walk and let them look at each group's other work and talk about what each group did. Now, let me show you what that looks like in action. We're going to visit a second grade classroom and see exactly what they do. We've watched the video. Let's do one together. Let's create a group. Your list to work for with me is going to be Thanksgiving. So I want you to give me all the words that have to do with Thanksgiving, and we're going to do exactly like the kids did, and let's see what happens. Now, you can see from that how simple it was to integrate it into what we're doing, to anything, big, little topics. You can throw that in. Now, the second thing we want to look at is an explicit vocabulary lesson. We're going to look through our text for the day, whether it be science, social studies, reading, just a picture book. And we're going to choose 3 to 4 words. Again, we don't want to overwhelm our students with words. We want to look for those tier 2, tier 3 words, or words that are out of the ordinary that they may be like, that's a cool word. I know with younger kids, the bigger and the more out there word, the better they love it. And then we're going to find them in the story, write the words from the story on the sentence strip. We're going to define those words. And the best way to define words for younger kids are by using synonyms. So if the word was outlandish, I could find extravagant, I could say out there, or over the top. Ways to make them connect meaning with those words. I also am going to want to add motions to them. Ways for them to remember. My kids remember the best words when I put hand motions to them. We had roam, and we talked about how they roam around the room, and you say roam and they all run their fingers around the room. So we want to make connections and make it hands-on as much as we can to help them remember, make it tactile. And then once we go through the definition, we use it in that sentence, then we're going to read the story. And we want the kids to be able to read the story and use the story, and when they hear the word in the story, to put a thumbs up and let us know that they've heard it. So we're going to try one of our own. On the table you have stacks of books, and in those books we're going to look for 2 to 3 vocabulary words. You can work as a group, you can work as a grade level, and we're going to go through the plan just like we discussed, and we're going to work it all out, and then we're going to share our words. And now, by having different groups, we're going to have like 4 or 5 different set of words instead of all the things to go together. Finally, let's think of ways to retain these words that we've learned. We want to have these words visible so that they can look back at them when they write. They can look back at them as they're speaking, as they're looking at other books. We can create word chains in the room. If you are like me and don't have a lot of wall space, put the words on long cards and fold them and make word chains to hang from the room. You can make word chains just on the sheet of papers and hang them down the way, hang them on the words. Hang the words down the ceiling and make a long chain. Sorry. We can draw pictures of the words. We can act out the words. Discuss words with partners. The more engaging we can make these words with our children, the more they'll remember them, and the more they're apt to use them and to hear them remember what they mean. So if you'll take a second, we want to make sure that we're accountable for this. Not just accountable to administration, but accountable to each other. And so one thing that we can do, we're going to add them in our lesson plans. We can put list, group, sort. We can put just vocabulary lesson, and we're going to know what we're doing. We also want to revisit these words. We want to have, you can keep tally marks. You can track words. Pick a word of the week. How often do you use the word of the week? Tally mark those words as you go. As we end our professional development session, if you will scan the code, or you can type that long address into the web browser, give us some feedback. What did you think? Is this something that you plan to use? Was it easy to integrate? Is it something that you found useful that you can turn around and implement into your classroom? If you need some other reading, here's a couple of articles that we pulled some of the information from, or some of the research to back up what we're doing. I have copies. You're more than welcome to have one. And I hope that you have a great afternoon. And thank you for participating in our professional development session, and you'll have a good afternoon.